Hello and welcome to our podcast, Cozy Conversations with the Sister Project. I'm Lauren and I'm Michelle, and we're so excited you stopped by for a visit. Come on in. Yeah, make yourself at home. We're two Midwestern sisters who love a good old-fashioned conversation and enjoy sharing our life experiences with one another and you. Consider this your one-stop shop for cozy, mindful well-being, along with some entertainment and lots of wheezy laughing. Oh, you bet there'll be a lot of that going around. Our goal is to live our coziest life and inspire you to do the same because the truth is, we think it's good for your mind and your body. Thank you so much for tuning in. Now, let's get cozy. Well, hello there and hi there, and welcome back to Cozy Conversations with the Sister Project. I'm your host, Lauren, being joined by my sister and co-host, Michelle.
Hey, you. Hey, friends. How
another great day of recording.
Really great.
This is a longer episode, you guys, because we just had a ton to share with you. I'm sick as hell, but I apparently had enough energy to come up with a lot of content.
You put your rally cap on. You nailed it.
It's when I used to teach yoga, and if I was back in the day hungover, those were some of the best taught classes I ever taught, because you really want to. You're really trying to overdo it a little bit, but then you're just bringing your best you can bring.
You know what? Yeah. Ride that
really
out.
Interesting. I wrote it out.
I was going to wish you being sick more, but that sounded weird and counterintuitive. So we're going to just
scrap
that thought. Yeah, no.
You guys, we've got a couple, one housekeeping item and a couple shout outs. The first thing first is tonight we have our Asking for a Friend event at Cureleaf in Glenview. You want to join us. We're going to start things off at 1090 Brewing Company. And then we're going to talk cannabis, why we love it, why we think it's so cozy, how we implement it into our lives. There's going to be awesome swag bags, a giveaway, discount on shopping, because we're going to have like one of those Sprinter vans you see in the Real Housewives, take you to and from the dispensary to go grab some yummy, chummy, delicious cannabis goodies.
Which I have to say at the last event, that was a highlight. That
oh my
God,
people had so much fun in the van.
The van. And going, and it's a 5-minute trip. You go, your order's placed at
you just don't pick it up. You just have to literally
just pick up and say thank you, and then you get back on this thing, and it's like a jolly ride.
Because you guys, because it's fun. Everyone loves a good little ride with your friends.
Yeah.
Especially when you're picking up cannabis.
Well, it's so random too, which is hilarious.
It's great. And listen, if you can't make the event, but you do love to shop at Cureleaf, and we hope you do, use our code SISTER30 and you will get 30% off your entire order. So shop, look, and it's only good in person. But you can look at the menus online, see what you're loving, and then go use our code and they'll give you 30% off. We want to give a shout out. Michelle, why don't you give a shout out to our 2 newest Anchor subscribers?
How about this, folks? And I bet maybe you didn't know that you too could subscribe to our podcast. We'll talk about that in a second. But first, I want to thank Brooke Williams and Michelle Cram for being our newest subscribers of the podcast. We appreciate you and your support.
Mouth kisses
coming your way.
I'm sick.
Yeah, she's got something right now, but I'm healthy as a horse and I'm feeling really thankful. So I've been taking my vitamins. Get ready, pucker up. Thank you, ladies, so much.
Brooke and Michelle, thank you so much. You guys, you too, as Michelle said, can support our podcast. We do this here. We do get sponsors, but the rest of it is out of our goodness and our love for creating content for you. So if you do want to support our podcast in any way, you can go to the link that's in our show notes. It's the Anchor link, and you can see 3 different options to throw a couple bucks our way. And honestly, we use those funds to pay for like our hosting site. Yeah. It just literally goes right back into the podcast. We are super grateful for all of our Anchor supporters. And we have a special shout out real quick while we're doing shout outs to one of our most loyal listeners and one of our biggest fans, Marissa. I'm going to fuck up your last name again. And you know what? That's the fun about having you as one of our fans. Marissa Chia, Cha. Doesn't matter, but it does. But right now it's just Marissa. We love you. And your fiance, Chris, wrote in. He wrote in a couple weeks ago, but I was sick. I was traveling, so it got jumbled. But we wanted to help celebrate your last date anniversary before your wedding coming up in June. They asked that we would definitely, just throw a little shout out to you. And I say they, because, I don't know, is Chris a guy or a girl? I don't want to, mess things up here. So we're going to just go.
Oh, so congrats to you guys.
Congrats to you. Listen, my biggest piece of advice when you are getting married or during any monumental moment, that you're sitting in at your wedding, take your fiance, Chris, step away, go with the distance, and take a mental snapshot or video and just watch. Don't use your cameras. I just want you to sit and stand and watch from afar the gathering of the people that you've brought together and enjoy the moment that you two have created and the love that they are celebrating. They're there for you guys. We'll give you another shout out in June, but hey, love a good date-iversary. And you know what, guys?
Congrats, guys.
Congrats. Have fun. And all this shit that you guys may be arguing about doesn't matter in the long run. So
that's what my advice was going to be leading up to that picture that Lauren recommended you take in your mind. Leading up, care less, because let me tell you something, shit's going to go wrong. Stuff's going to happen that's out of your control. People are going to have some opinions. You're going to want to punch them in their faces. And you want to know what?
Doesn't matter.
Let it roll off your back, right? Just let it roll off the back.
It is not worth it.
It isn't. It isn't. Just
I had some drama on my wedding day and I look back and think it was not worth it. Yeah. All right, you guys, if anyone else out there wants a shout out, hey, listen, we're generous folks here. Yeah, contact at thesisterproject.com. And Chris also noted, love your candle, by the way. It smells great. You know what, Chris? I like you.
Thank you.
And I bet you smell good too. All right, everyone. I love you. Stay cozy. Enjoy the episode.
Peace. Did you just take a snap
of that message from Marissa?
Got it.
Don't say.
No. Well, we're rolling on the.
See, I was going to sing "Rolling with My Homies." I don't know where that.
Different beat.
I don't even know where that. It's rolling with my homies.
And now, I wanted.
That was one of my favorite movies growing up. Clueless. I saw it 3 times in the movie theater.
Wasn't for me.
No, why not?
I don't know. I just wasn't into it. Because I was probably more into like the latest release of Star Wars.
Because you were wearing like Umbros playing soccer.
I just was not into. I was not connecting on the Clueless.
Have you watched it? Have you and Mia watched it? It's a fun movie. It's good.
I need to maybe give it another whirl and watch it through the eyes of my daughter.
I think you should try it. Alicia Silverstone is so good. It's so good. And you know, her best friend, Christian is
Slater?
No.
Oh.
She's got no. But great actor. Heathers. Oh my God. Another classic.
His voice and the way he barely opens his mouth when he talks.
Yeah, there's something
actually him and Alicia both have something with their mouths when they talk.
Yeah, she kind of talks out like the side of her mouth.
Like, Mean Girls. I'm in the movie Mean Girls.
Is she Mean Girls?
I don't know.
No, she's not. You just literally
Clueless,
made that.
I meant Clueless.
Clueless. There's a new Mean Girls. I didn't know she made like some sort of cameo or something.
No clue. Haven't seen that either. Mia did.
The new one?
She hated it.
The new one or the original, the OG?
The OG is good. The new one. That's like a musical, which I was shocked that Mia didn't like that because she is like lives for musicals, but she was like, no, thank you.
You know, there was
bad.
Yeah, and there's Wonka, which I can't even.
She loved that,
and that's a musical too.
Did you want me to bring my mic down for the show?
Bless. You know what? Sometimes they're just coming a little late.
Too funny. I just looked up and I'm
where was it?
It was just up, and I was like, I kind of need that.
I'd say.
Oh man. My word! Oh my word!
Massive vitamin C.
How are you feeling right at this moment, sweetie?
No, I mean, I sound worse, I think, than I feel. I'm past the razor blade throat.
How long did that last?
3 mornings, and it's worse than it's the worst in the morning because you wake up.
Do we think it could have been strep?
No, I actually did my own self-examination.
What did you determine, doctor?
Well, I took my phone light, like the flashlight.
Yep.
I looked up some photos of strep, and it's like spotted tonsils, very red. Mm-hmm. Mine was a little red, but it was not like that. And plus, my nodes, my gland, nothing swollen. Okay. I didn't have a fever. Listen, I thought I for sure had COVID. That fucking headache. It's the headache. Honestly, I can do with the sore throat. The headache, like you drank 5 IPAs and then had a martini at the end of the night.
No.
That's what the past 3 nights, the days are kind of like sore throat, a little under the weather, just feeling kind of, like slow and like shit. And then come the night, it's like a pounding headache. And you're like, I couldn't sleep last night because my head was pounding.
Nothing helped it. Advil.
I took 2 Aleve, and I don't like taking medicine.
but a headache.
Anthony's like, we stuck on a lozenge. I was like,
I can't do a headache. If a headache goes, it's a lozenge.
Yeah, let's say, lozenge.
Yeah. Got to add that,
G at the end.
Soft G.
I was going with just lozenge.
Yep. Lozenge, forgot the other latter half of the word, but that's okay. You're sick. So it's everything's not, yeah.
I took 2 COVID tests and they were negative, but I know other people who I was in a close setting with recently who
down to the ground
COVID.
Oh.
And I don't know, Luna was sick. Yeah, dude, listen, here's the deal. Last week was the beginning of Friday. So I started in my cool little planner. I literally wrote a page for what does my ideal morning look like? And then I wrote from the minute I wake up, I say 3 things I'm grateful for. I'm going to say today's going to be an amazing day. I'm going to wake up and who knows what's going to happen. And then I wrote down all the things I'm going to do. I'm going to move my body. I'm going to meditate.
None of that.
Yeah. So I was manifesting my mornings.
It was opposite day.
Wake up. It couldn't have been more opposite. I woke up the next day, not to my alarm clock, but to a baby screaming. And I was like, oh my God.
Oh yeah. And I'm a mom.
At 5:30 in the morning. And I was down to get up that early, but just under different circumstances.
Yeah.
And so it really threw a monkey wrench in my manifestation of a new month.
Yep.
And
doesn't always work.
It did not work. It did not work. And then by day 3, my toddler broke me and I was in tears and Anthony was hugging me because
you know what? I appreciate your honesty.
Well, dude, they are I've said this before, newborn to 1 year, that for me, and I know everyone's journey is so different. It was so, I'm not going to say easy. It was just way more chill. Toddler's a whole, you're walking, you're following around someone all day long, just following.
I mean, they did that test where somebody literally followed a toddler, the person
and where was it?
I don't know, the test? But the test was to literally mimic, an adult person was mimicking every single action that a toddler did throughout the day. And I think the person lasted 2 hours, crawling under tables, climbing onto things, doing all the things. Couldn't do it. So
yeah, so it was a lot. And we're at the phase right now where she is refusing food. And I asked Anthony, I was like, do you think she's got an eating disorder?
No, this is where you just don't care. Honestly, you do the best you can and you turn your head the other way.
I could do that, but it's the offering of food and not even tasting and whipping it on the floor and it goes everywhere. And when she did that yesterday, I just started crying. I was like, I just am done.
I just want to tell you something. I can tell you that the offering of food and them not tasting it, they do stop throwing it at a certain point, but that could go on until 15 years.
Thank you. So I'm so grateful that you're telling me.
Get your big girl buckets on. Get them on.
I don't even need to buckle up now that I know that. And I took the worry away. I'm not is she sick? Is she have some sort of weird food. What?
I got a zinger for you.
What's that?
She'll eat when she's hungry.
When she's hungry. And that's what the pediatrician told me a month ago. So I keep that close to my vest or whatever.
And also some people, I can't relate to this. Will would be my kid that's not very food driven anyway. He actually, that's a complete and total lie.
Oh, you lied.
Well, it's just he can go long periods of time without eating, whereas my Mia is more of a snacker, constantly has something in her mouth to the point where I'm I want to balance them both out.
Yeah.
But when he gets to the point of no return, when he's hungry, he's insane. He is insatiable. Out of his mind, hangry.
Oh, hangry. Yeah.
So you know what? Prayers to you. Thoughts and prayers to moms of toddlers when they're not feeling well.
It's very hard. Thank you. I appreciate those. I will accept them. But 2 nights ago, I decided I need to get myself together. I just need to get not my physical self, my brain and my mindset. So we'll talk a little bit more about this at the end of the show. I have a stack of books that they're kind of like my Bibles. They're of life. And I'm excited to share with you guys at the end of the show, a couple that I call upon when I have to remind myself of things. And one of the constant messages in several of the books that I go to is that everything is temporary. And so I've been reminding myself of this with like Luna, like this phase that we're in is temporary. This sleep regression that we're in is temporary. So that has been really helpful.
Yeah, that bit of advice was said to me when our parents were going through their divorce and just everything was hard and I was exhausted and
it doesn't last forever.
And Dad looked at me and he's like, "Listen, it will not be like this forever." And I was like,
true.
"It won't."
And that makes me want to
promise.
Cry. But it's so true, and it's really helpful to hear that, whether you read it or whether someone reminds you. I'm going to like put it on my fucking whiteboard right here.
Everything
toddlers are hard.
Yeah, they are. No joke.
I told her the other day I was going to send her back to the lab. I said so. I was like, listen, I'm going to send you back to those two ladies that mixed you up.
Oh my God. Yeah, I know. They will break you. I mean, we've talked about, like putting them to bed a little bit harder than you normally would,
or when you pick her up and you're like, come here. And you like kind of dig your nails
and you crack a tooth because all your anger and frustration is going to not snapping.
My friend Braden, when Luna was first born, Braden is a very interesting character. And he comes in and he wears like 90s windbreakers. Okay. That's what kind of person he is.
Yeah, it sounds like we would have been friends in high school. That's
and
on
his belly, exactly. And on his belly, he's got a tattoo of a skull with headphones because he was a DJ for a while. It's an interesting tattoo. It's very artistic. Anyways, he comes into our house and
it's a risky place to put it, around the belly button. You really got to maintain.
I think it's right above it. But you know what? He's a small man. And he said to us, he's holding Luna and he's got two of his own. And he's like, he's like, I love babies. He goes, but kids, he's like, they have a way of like getting the inner rage within you. You will have moments of rage that no person can bring from within you.
Yeah.
But a little tiny person will do this for you.
Unbelievable. They will test you till the end. Like Dr. Shefali said, they will break you. They will test you and they will break you.
Well, she was talking about teens, and I know she probably would say that to any type of any child age.
Oh, yes.
And yesterday I said to Anthony, I go, she has broken me.
Mm-hmm. You're broken.
And I'm like, you need to leave. And I took a bath and lit a candle.
Was he like quietly like, oh, okay, bye.
No, he held me. He gave me a hug. He's like, Luna, got to give your mom a break, babe. Thank you. How was your weekend?
It was.
Are you still high from the pigs?
I felt like I was at the Grammys, but I was just in the dome with the pigs.
God bless.
Yeah, I am. I'm high from a epic gig that was.
What makes it epic? Like, what
crowd,
does it make?
Man, crowd.
Okay, so it's the response from the people who are 100%. On the floor watching you guys.
Yeah, we've played at events where nobody was standing in the room with us. Okay, and I looked at them one night and I go, "I'm leaving." They were like, "Michelle's leaving." I'm like, "I'm done." They were like, "All right, I guess we're packing up here." Like I was like, it was the worst layout
I'm
ever.
with you. I'm like, let's get out of here. Let's just go have a beer somewhere. Call it a night.
But no, it was slammed. The vibe was there. I'm telling you, people want to be out, listening, dancing. I mean, I'll tell you what, Tim plays, Tennessee whiskey. He sings Tennessee whiskey.
Your fiddlist.
He's our fiddler. He's our fiddler. He's not a fiddlist.
Oh,
he's not a fiddlist.
Not a fiddlist. Could have sworn that it was a fiddlist. All right. So Tim, your fiddler. Who's adorable, by the way.
He's great.
So
and he
cute.
Nails that song. And Mel actually voiced, she's like, please, can we remove this from the set? And we were like, people love it. And when I tell you, as soon as we start playing, everybody's dancing, couples dancing around.
Dude, you showed videos. People were like dancing, like
slow dancing,
another dancing.
I felt like I was in Texas in a barn, like during
some line dancing.
Yes.
I love watching couples unite in a dancing form. It's so beautiful because honestly, that's a big demonstration of like love, like a public demonstration of love and connection. And I love when people do that. I feel like it takes courage, but for them, they're probably like, fuck it. We're having a dance I remember when mom and dad, like when we were young, I don't know if I like
happy
made
dance. They're happy dance.
No, but I feel like mom and dad like went dancing. Like when we were not like slow dancing.
They did.
It's maybe a memory I made up.
You know, it's probably something you wanted them to have done.
You know,
But they did do, and I remember the happy dance.
I
Like
remember
if
the happy
somebody
dance.
like nailed it on a test or
Yeah,
something
they
like
do
that.
a happy
They
dance.
do like those were the
Different
happy
than
times.
different than dancing at a pig's gig.
Totally different.
But
Totally
fun.
different. It was freaking awesome.
Celebratory nonetheless.
Celebratory nonetheless. Great crowd, great music, great vibe. People loved it. Shout out to our sponsors over at Whistle Pig for
Oink, oink.
oink, oink, right? I kept
Whistle
saying,
Pig whiskey.
are you guys going to wet your whistle pigs? That was my big joke.
Time to whistle pigs.
But yeah, so weekend was good. Exhausted yesterday.
You know what I want to do with some Whistle Pig whiskey? I want to make a hot toddy.
Dude, you could use one right now, I feel like. That would
Not
be a
at this very moment because it's only 8:20. But wouldn't that be delightful?
Oh God, that would be so
with
warm
some
and
lemon,
delicious.
some honey, a cinnamon stick.
You know what?
I'd actually put it stovetop and kind of brew up like the main components of it, and then put that shot of whiskey in like at the very end or something. I don't know.
I like that.
Doesn't that sound lovely?
How about next time I'll get a bottle in your hand and we'll whip that up and we'll taste that around next step or something. Yeah, that would be nice. Nothing like a little strong buzz on a Monday morning to get the day going.
Some people do it, and they seem to be doing fine.
Well, not all.
So good. Well, we both had interest. Well, you had a great weekend, and I had a different kind of weekend.
Yep.
But we will be catching up on the content that we consumed in form of movies. But before we do that, let's go into some hot topics first. So last night we had the Grammys. And I was following from a distance because I was going through my books and doing some other things, but I was keeping up with the fashion and the winners and the surprise appearances. Let's first kick things off because the first image that I saw was of Miley Cyrus walking the red carpet in this gold, almost Madonna-esque, like boob kind of bralette, but it was a dress. They were calling it her Cleopatra era. And I could see that kind of like an Egyptian vibe. Her fucking blown back hair, the big hair.
Loved it.
You know what? I loved
was
it.
A vision.
She was.
She was like the striking strength and power and feminine energy was blowing off of the screen into my face.
Into your face. Your hair blew back.
I looked like her when she left the stage. And so did everybody. I swear, how could you not?
Well, that's a hairdo you don't see often.
She's bringing it back.
I'm here for this kind. I love when people do like really outrageous things.
She's getting a sponsor from Aquanet after that.
For 100%. Is that stuff still in biz?
I don't know, but if it is,
check. They're here for
mask down, get those COVID masks out.
Yeah. We don't want any of that carcinogenic hairspray. But she looked awesome. I loved all of her outfit changes. I think she won her first Grammy.
She did. She won her first Grammy, which was I think that she looked just so strong and
like physically. I know.
And incredible. And I loved what she said, which was, I can't remember. I just remember that I loved
No, what she said was, I was about to start crying, but then I realized I want a fucking Grammy.
And then she pushed the mic down, turned around, and walked off stage.
I love her. And I just really love her energy.
She's like a free spirit. It's refreshing to see. She's so confident. She really doesn't give a fuck, you know?
No, she doesn't.
Leaves it all out there.
And then she had that relationship with what's that cute Aussie's name?
Hemsworth.
Yeah, Liam.
I
think they were married. And there was a lot of stuff going on there. But something else that I was really drawn to from the Grammys. Oh, by the way, did you know I think she's vegan. She doesn't drink, and she's a huge yogi.
I didn't know any of that.
I think that's the trifecta to why she just looks healthy. And I'm not saying because she's skinny and strong, but she just looks vibrant.
She does.
She does. And the energy she exudes looks like one of
she's feeling good from
yogi.
The inside out.
Yeah, she's legit yogi. We were going to do part of our show on yoga because I know you are a big practitioner. I'm a teacher. So next week, I think we're going to throw in some yoga zingers just to... we're going to do it.
I would love to talk about that because I always feel like I have buddy passes and I'm like, come with me, anybody, whatever. And I get a lot of, I'm not good at it. And I'm like,
no, we're going to talk about it.
Don't understand.
No. Yeah, we're going to do next week, a little portion of it will be on yoga. Another surprise visit was Celine Dion.
I missed it. Did you see it?
I did all my catch-ups today. I saw
was
her.
she giving
She presented to Taylor Swift to album. Okay, so we'll go there in a minute. But now, Celine has kind of been out of the limelight because she was diagnosed with a rare and incurable neurological disorder called stiff person syndrome.
What is this?
And it's a disorder that causes intense muscle stiffness and body spasms.
That sounds miserable.
It breaks my heart. I love Celine.
Oh, when she used to smack her arm with her mic when she'd be clapping.
The gifts. Shout out to our friend Abby Thome. Her and I will send her Instagrams. Like when people are like, Michelle, you shared one when it was like, here's my ADHD.
Yeah, when she breaks down song.
Yeah, like the news broadcaster's like, so tell us about that first year you were on. She's like,
believe in love,
and he's really like,
and
so
he's
going back to 1989. Speaking of 1989, Taylor Swift won not her very first. She made history last night by winning her 4th album of the year for Midnight. I don't know her albums that well, but that's the name of, I believe,
4th album
that one.
Of the year. And she's only the 4th person to win 13 Grammys. Only 3 other people have won that amount. Like Frank Sinatra is one of them, I think.
You and I talk a lot about her because I think you think that I hate her, which I don't.
But let me tell you, people are hating her right now.
Weird.
She pissed them off last night.
Why?
Because of her acceptance speech was announcing her next album. And
why is that? What's that? I don't understand. What's the hate?
It's the same. What is the hate? Period. It's because people love to hate. That's why. There's no good reason.
But what's for real? What's the hate for? Like what was the hate for?
I think
that she announced an album.
Well, I think that it's just because she's so epic, because people can't handle the fact that, I don't know. I mean, her acceptance speech for that one, I wanted more from her. Let's put it that way. For me,
from Taylor.
Yes. For me, I'm not waiting on bated breath for her next album, although I'm a fan and I am all there for everything. But I like to hear a speech that blows me away, like Miley's speech. She told a little bit of a story, and then it was anecdotal, and it was the reason why she wrote the song that she wrote for. It was great. It was a well thought out, meaningful thing. And for me, I didn't need to know about the album, but I know that people are. Well, I've seen it on social media. People are like, I cannot stand her.
Well, I don't like that because listen, people could not stand whoever they want. The hate for things is weird. Like, she's a successful young woman and she's doing great. She's in love. The problem that I have with the media attention on her relationship, it's not about her and her relationship. It's about that there's a lot of stuff going on in this world that we need to sprinkle some of that attention to. Some really serious things.
So
and I feel like we
media
are taking the attention from not just young girls, but we're really putting this magnifying glass. That's a lot of pressure to put on someone's relationship. And we're just kind of like really amping up and highlighting this person and her love life and that's cool and that's great. And like I said, I'm happy for her, but we have like legit issues going on in this world. We have an election coming up, and I'm hoping she does what she needs to do and encourages people to vote, which I think she's done in the past. She actually has. So I don't like the word hate because I think that I saved that word for one person in particular. And we know who he is. And I just really loathe that gentleman. And what I find funny is that so we're talking about Donald Trump just for a hot second. He's mad at Taylor Swift because he thinks that he's more popular than her. So he's got his panties in a doozy. So I think that his hate for her drives his following to have hate for her too, which is so fucked up and weird.
Yeah, that's going to be the leader of the free world, and that's what we're focusing on.
No, let's not go there. Let's not go
on who's more popular.
It's a Monday. Yeah,
my face
exactly.
Off. I can't.
Well, he does because you know what? There is some intelligence there. He knows that she is so popular that what she says people might do, which is
Taylor for
thing.
president. Taylor for president. She's
no,
got
I got
my
other.
vote.
No. She's just maybe an enthusiast of voting. Okay, Tracy Chapman. Did you see?
Yeah, I have.
I love her.
Thoughts. I love her so much. That song is like the soundtrack of my high school.
What is the name of the song? Car? No.
Fast Car.
Fast Car.
Fast Car. I vividly remember riding in my friend in Killeen's convertible on the way from the ACTs. I'm pretty sure that was my third time getting a 19, and our father telling me that,
job.
well, I've always been his most consistent child.
You know
but
what?
Fast Car brought me to and from that place.
That's hilarious. And you know what? Those are just numbers. SAT and ACTs. I cheated on my which one, the math portion, so I can get into college. That is what I had to do. But anyways, loved Tracy Chapman. Loved her black outfit with her bedazzled sleeves.
She looked great.
Love her.
Great.
Annie Lennox singing "Nothing Compares to You." She did the Memoriam in Memoriam.
She was one of many that did. Yeah.
Yeah, and the other women that were singing with her. So Prince is the writer of the song "Nothing Compares to You," which we know was famously and beautifully sung by the late Sinead O'Connor. And
I still can't believe some of those people are gone.
I know.
I forgot.
Yeah, they're saying that she died of natural causes, but I don't really know. I think it was a broken heart, but like a natural broken heart cause. But two of the women that were accompanying Annie Lennox, I believe, are someone originally sang "Nothing Compares to You," and it was one of Prince's proteges. So there were other people involved in that song making and whatnot. And Annie Lennox, she's got the pipes, man. She can still belt them,
dude. Walking on Broken Glass, right?
Yes, she has so many.
What a great video.
So the Eurythmics and Annie Lennox, badass.
Mom loved her.
Mom, she did.
She loved her.
I love her. Maybe that's where my love comes from. I remember like her singing it. But I want to give a shout out.
It was more likely that we were listening to Walking on Broken Glass than Mom and Dad were doing ballroom dancing.
Dancing at the bars. But what I wanted to do is give a shout out to my friend Melissa White. Melissa White is,
oh my God.
I know her from she's a yoga student of mine, but we are friends. Like when I run into her, the random times I do, I stop what I'm doing. I get a $140 ticket from the city of Chicago because I want to sit and have 5 minutes with this woman. She's a beautiful woman inside out. She's a very gifted and talented violinist. And she won a Grammy.
She's a gifted fiddler.
She's fiddler. She's a violiner. That's why I thought I was a fiddleist, because it's a violinist. But she and her cohorts and her team of musicians won a Grammy last night. Oh my
God, brava.
Oh, I have goosebumps.
So
she looks
good.
Freaking gorgeous.
Dude.
I need more intel on what it was for because I haven't dove in deep. But I'm just so excited for you, Melissa. If you're listening, congratulations. I can't wait to see her in concert live. I think I'm going to get the opportunity here in the city.
She looks so happy holding her Grammy, like so floored and excited.
It was all, you know what? I have it right here. I'm going to show. That's her. There she is. So for anyone that's watching on YouTube, that's my friend Melissa, and I'm so proud and happy for her. I'm going to start crying. Oh my God.
Did you happen to see Jay-Z's speech?
I did. I saw him. Yes, I read it. I didn't see it.
What did he win for?
He won a special award for, hold on a second, because it's right. If you give me 1 second, I just was looking. Here it is. He won an award. It's a special award that not many people have been awarded yet. Just give me a second. It's right here. That's not the one I'm looking for. Just some patience.
Because I was kind of coming in and out of listening to his speech. And I have so many questions. He was making there were a couple of gut punches. He was making some jokes about, folks up there that maybe shouldn't have been up there. Like he was bold with his thoughts.
Yes. But as he is known to be, and so is Beyonce. And, I think he is bold. But when I say so is Beyonce, what I meant to say is he is bold in standing up and speaking about his wife. And it's a really beautiful thing. He was accepting an award for himself. Yeah. And that he's miffed that I think Beyonce has never, I believe she has never won Album of the Year. She's been nominated 4 times, I think, and has lost. So he was accepting the 2nd annual Dr. Dre Global Impact Award in recognition of his musical legacy. The hip hop artist 54 questioned the process behind the voting categories. So,
Well, I just want to say that he closed that speech with something that was really super moving and super empowering. And he was like, you got to show up every day, every single day. You got to wake up,
I read that.
Be consistent, show up if you, and that messaging, I feel like we're going to talk about a movie in a little bit that we watched. All of that very much resonates. And it's just, it's really the secret sauce, I think, in like, accomplishing your goals
and living life to the fullest. Yes, Michelle, I completely agree with you.
It's very simple. It's hard to do, but the idea
is you gotta show up.
You have to wake up and put your feet in front of each other each day, but it is absolutely 100% achievable for everyone.
I agree with you. And some days it's harder than others. And that's why you just have to keep going. Michelle, the books I'm reading right now is totally on brand right now. So what he says was, but some things, I don't want to embarrass this young lady. And I believe he's speaking about his beautiful wife, Beyonce, but she has more Grammys than everyone and never won album of the year. So even by your own metrics, that doesn't work. Think about that. The most Grammys, never won album of the year. That doesn't work. And he's got a point. He has a point. Like, how does she's accumulating all of these trophies, but has never won one of the biggest awards. And she's got some really cool albums out there. I have never listened to all of them in their entirety. My dear friend, Devin, is one of her biggest fans, and she encourages me. Listen, I listen to classic rock. I don't listen to a lot of new music. I just don't. I listen to stuff from my youth and some indie stuff. But the shit that I've seen her, the music that I've heard her create is it's incredible. And so is a lot of people's out there, but I do understand his beef here. I understand.
Totally. I mean, I see that. I totally do have another question though.
Yeah. What's up?
Why is Blue Ivy on the stage with them for every single thing that they do?
I don't know. He called her up. I don't know anything more than that. I don't know. And I don't have a problem with it either. I don't
have a problem with it. I want to know what, like, it just seems.
Well, first of all, she's on stage. Have you seen her perform with Beyonce?
And it's
cool. It's amazing.
She has that like stoic presence
she does.
That her mother had. Well, that her mom has for sure.
Yeah.
Like she just kind of owns it up there. And it's pretty powerful for how young she is. Is she my kid's age? Is she older than my kid? How old is she?
Let's find out. I feel like she's a 14-year-old, but I'm not sure. I'm going to make that up. And I don't know but I feel like she's a young teen.
She's a young teen. She
might not even be 14. She might be like 12 or 13.
Well, she's tall.
Gosh, I don't know. But I like Jay-Z actually a lot. And I'll never forget when Solange, Beyonce's sister,
whooped
beat his ass in the elevator. And he probably did something bad. And Solange was like, my sister can't break a nail tonight, so I'm going to do the dirty for her. And whooped his butt.
Oh my God. I know. I remember seeing that.
People make mistakes. I don't know what happened there, but listen.
Seems like they righted that ship. They went in that elevator one way and they came out a different. And never looked back.
And Beyonce, I guess, there's a whole song there's a lot. She's written about the fracture in their marriage and moving forward. So I really need to listen to her songs to know about that better. But, it's all there. Okay. So moving on.
What's next?
So yeah, that was great. Speaking of, someone doing the dirty on you, cheating on you and, breakups. What do you need most in life when, you're going through a hard time? Your friends.
You need your time with your friends.
You do.
You need your people. You need your tribe.
You need your people. So last night during my research, I was looking at a ton of different articles and things that were like in the news that are trending. And I came across this concept of the 90-day dinner, and there was some commotion about it. And so I clicked on it and I read about it, and I completely fell in love with this idea.
I've never heard of it either, and I'm obsessed. It's wonderful.
It's a great concept. So this idea came by a TikToker by the name of Becca Havian. She's getting her master's in mental health counseling, and explained what the 90-day dinner entails. So basically, it's a dinner, obviously, and it is a time for friends to come together to support a friend in need of support. And how this works is, So say I'm going through a hard time. I'm in the thick of being a toddler mom and my kid's not sleeping and I'm really stressed out and it's breaking me and I'm getting sad. I'm not that in the deeps right now, but just, hypothetically. And I call up maybe a couple friends of mine. And they say, listen, this is like a really fucking hard time right now. And I need a 90-day dinner. So we all.
And I just want to stop right there and just say that that's key. Okay. This is the part this thing is designed like for the person in need to open up and say,
like to reach out.
I need help. I need my people.
I think what happens a lot too is that, and this happened to me in my early postpartumhood, I expected people to just be there. And some people were, and some people weren't. But you also have to ask for help, and that's okay too. And then I asked for help, and I think that's the idea here, is to empower people to say like, okay, I'm in a bad place. I need help. So then what happens is this group of friends pulls out their calendars and they look 90 days from now to set a date to all gather, whether it's in person because you're local or it's on a FaceTime or a Zoom and you guys share like the same kind of dinner over FaceTime, to do a mental health and well-being and how are you doing check-in 90 days from the moment that you're not doing so hot, so that you guys can see where the shift, the growth,
or maybe.
And maybe not. Maybe you're still in the deeps, but whatever it is, and however it's looking 90 days from when you first reached out, it's a moment for you guys to talk about like, where is the shift? How do you feel now looking back at that moment? And it's a space for people to come together, for close friends to unite and support one another.
Two things. The first thing is I absolutely love this idea. And one of the other things that was noted in here was maybe at that 90 days, you might be feeling bad still. You might be in pain. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's important to know that, because that pain might mean that you're actually feeling and processing for the first time, which is massive. And that's forward motion. The other thing is I really connect with this in a different way. I think that this community, this tribal come together, this like set plan it's vital. My girlfriends and I have always done something similar, but different. There was not a 90-day time span, but we called ourselves the red nose clowns. And if somebody was in trouble, we would send an emoji with the clown nose, the red nose. And it was like, that was our like bat signal to each other. Yes. Like someone's in the deeps and we need to rally. And that rally has looked like a dinner, out. It has looked like cleaning that person's house when they are at the hospital for days with a sick child, but there is this massive sense that when you know that you have this, it keeps you from going to the dark side.
I mean, I feel like you can even go to the dark side, but now your friends, here's something also about this 90-day dinner concept. You have put out the bat signal and now your friends are tuned in that you're going through a hard time. So now they can actually also check on you in the coming days and weeks and, drop a phone call or just be a little bit more
vigilant, aware.
Yes. And maybe like when you're just having a casual conversation, instead of not knowing that this person that you typically would have a casual convo is, you can start off the convo like quick check-in. Do you want to talk about what's going on? How's it going? And that person might be like, this, and you open up that space to communicate your needs and to talk it out. And it's real, because a lot of women suffer in silence.
And loneliness is a dangerous place to be. And this is like the anecdote to that.
Yeah. And I think that it's a really lovely way for women and friendships. And they say it could be a cousin, it could be sister, it could be anyone. It's a great way for people to rally and come together. And those friends that are on the outskirts, the friends who are like being contacted, they can kind of, then now gather and be like, okay, we got to set up a little food. Yeah, we got to send up a little food train now, a meal train for her. Why don't we send her some flowers? Now people are in the know. And because I think that we have this thing, we don't want to ask for help, but it's okay to, and you should.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. I love it.
This idea.
It's fab. It's a great one. In fact, I know just who I'm going to set my first 90-day dinner with when we get off of here. For sure.
For someone that needs it.
Yes.
There you go.
Yes.
Yeah, it's really lovely. I thought this was a great reminder for people who might feel lonely in a time of sadness or grief or confusion or whatever it might be. I also think it's a great way for people to say, like, nothing's wrong. I'm just missing my friends and life is going by fast. And I want to do let's check in where we are right now, and let's check in 90 days and all sit together and share our lives and have a glass of wine and eat. And I think it's a great way to also just reconnect with people, even when there isn't something, tumultuous going on.
And it's also important too, to remember that there is no shame in struggle or feeling like shit, and why it is so important to communicate and barf it out, because that's how we kind of like trudge forward and get out of our funk. And it feels better. It feels better to have a sounding board. It feels better to know that you have support. Yes.
Great. So you guys, I will, of course, I've been trying to do a better job of leaving all of my notes. So I will have that in the show notes so you guys can read more. There's another licensed therapist that chimes in about the benefits of this kind of communication. So if you are in the deeps right now, get your group and text them and say it's time for that 90-day dinner. Okay, so let's go ahead and move into what are we reading, watching, listening to? I'll just hit up first real quick. We watched a movie this weekend that we're going to get into in a minute, and they referenced Mary Oliver, the poet. And I have been seeing Mary Oliver pop up in some of my social media, actually her reading some of her own work. And I was really taken aback by how gorgeous it was. And so right after I watched Nyad on Netflix, I literally called my local bookshop, Madison Street Books. They had some flooding, so they were closed for a minute. I called them up and I asked them to put Mary Oliver's devotions on hold for me.
Give me a teaser.
And I thought, I'm going to give you a teaser.
Give me a teaser.
This one's called Praying. And I thought this was interesting because I'm not a praying person. I talk to the universe. I talk out loud. To who, I'm not quite sure, but to some sort of,
you are in a different way.
Force.
It's like your practice, but with a different word attached to it.
Okay. So this is called Praying. And it says, it doesn't have to be the blue iris. It could be weeds in a vacant lot or a few small stones. Just pay attention, then patch a few words together, and don't try to make them elaborate. This isn't a contest, but the doorway into thanks and a silence in which another voice may speak.
What?
And so I read that in the bathtub last night when I was in need of some
powerful,
like powerful words. And to this, it was just a reminder to keep throwing out those things that I'm grateful for this, noticing a flower or
the most
picking up a stone to
thing.
Remember a place that you visited, and just start kind of talking a little bit. And then, like, I love this, another voice may speak. And you might start to open up that conversation. And I thought this one was
powerful.
Really beautiful.
I mean, we'll save it.
And so the reason why I got it was because of Nyad, because I figured I'd find some bangers in here like this. She writes a ton about nature, which is like my favorite thing in the world. So, and I'm not a big poetry person. So this is very, very out of my comfort zone when it comes to reading. I highly recommend it. It's a collection of her favorite and greatest works from different books and whatnot. What I like about it is just open it up, read a couple pages, think about it, move on with your day. And I love highlighting and tabbing. So I bought new tabs off of Amazon.
Oh my God. Look at you getting all excited.
So excited.
I'm reading in a different direction. Actually, I haven't read yet. And I know I've mentioned this before, but I want to mention it again, you guys. Secret Pizza. This is on deck. Ryan is powering through this, but I wanted to bring this up because our friend Brendan Greeley, who's been a guest on here.
Yeah, twice.
He's written his second novel, and our crew is going to celebrate the launch of his second book this Friday, what will be this Friday, on actual National Pizza Day, down at Cork and Kerry. So I just,
what is the book about?
So I'm going to just read the really quick description. As family-owned pizzerias across the Midwest mysteriously disappear, Iowa college students Evan, Anna, and Crust are invited to join a secret society of pizza devotees. Relying on Midwestern sensibilities and the loyalty of their best friends, the freshman aficionados must decipher a series of clues in order to save the nation's pizza parlors and prevent a century-old supernatural recipe from falling into the wrong hands.
So that's adorable. Is this YA? Is this young adults? Is this?
I don't think so. I don't know. But I mean,
Secret Pizza.
holy creative.
Congrats to
Congrats.
Brendan, who is, you guys might know him as well he's Steve Dahl's sidekick. So yeah, Brendan he's making waves. I love
so
that he's
smart,
got the second
funny,
book out.
creative.
Congrats to him. People doing things that they want to do.
Yes.
That's what this is all about.
His writing was born out of the pandemic. He's written 2 books since then.
I will link his book on Amazon, and I highly recommend that you get it for your your favorite pizza loving friend. Okay, I'm not listening to anything, so we can just skip right over that. Doesn't look like you are either.
Yeah, let's get to what we're watching.
Let
me let Kevin out really quick.
Yeah,
okay,
let him out. No worries. So this weekend, while I was sucking my thumb and dealing with what's not COVID, but it felt like COVID, I decided to watch a movie that I have been wanting to watch for a long time called Nyad. And I watched it, and it's one of my favorite movies I've ever watched. And I'm obsessed with Jodie Foster and Annette Bening now, and the real Diane Nyad, and a woman named Bonnie. And you guys, I told Michelle, I was like, you have to watch this film. And she did. And Michelle, can I give a quick synopsis of what's this about? So this film follows the story of Diane Nyad, who was an incredible long distance swimmer back in the day in her earlier years. She tried to swim. One of her last swims was trying to swim from Cuba to Florida. And after a failed attempt, and she was 28. She did it in like a shark cage, and it didn't work. There were a lot of different things that came up, and she went into a retirement. She retired, and she kind of just, lived her life
for 30 years.
For 30 years. And then 30 years later, she got the spark again. And she was like,
hang on. She got the spark. She was like really not happy. Something was eating away at her. She felt like there was something missing, and she knew exactly what it was.
She had to finish this goal. She knew she could do it. So 30 years after retirement, she created a team, a crew, and with experts, coaches,
scientists, doctors,
so many different people were involved in her
navigator experts.
Yes. And come August 31st, 2013, Nyad, she began her 5th bid to swim from Havana, Cuba to the Keys in Florida, a distance of about 110 miles. And she did it.
Hair standing
wept. I cried.
Sobbed.
For the majority of the film, in a good way, not in a sad way, I was so taken aback by her will to make sure that the world knew, and she needed to prove it to everyone else that she could do it, and to herself. But I felt like she was like, fuck everyone. Michelle, tell me your thoughts. I'm just overwhelmed by the story.
Utter determination. This woman, the more you told her no, which there's an amazing part in the movie that was a little Jedi mind trick to get her moving. And I don't want to spoil it, because if you have not seen this, it is so wonderful. But the sheer utter determination to do it, the more people said she couldn't, she could. The mind.
She was 64. She was 64 years old.
But proof that the mind is stronger than anything. It is truly stronger than anything. What I loved more than anything was this partnership, this friendship.
I can cry. I'm going to start crying thinking about them.
This
Bonnie
is
and
an
Nyad.
example of what being a woman like, and really living out the female experience looks like on screen, because it's like they're 2 different people, but they were one. They were connected. They were fully determined. They had each other's backs. They were honest with each other. The end, Lauren.
Oh my God.
End.
Just walking on the shore.
I just need 2 ankles, babe, to come out of the water.
Tears were streaming. I looked at Anthony. I'm like, I'm unwell.
But
tears,
sobbing. But it was what she said. And Annette Bening, first of all, Jodie Foster looks hot. Okay.
I don't know. I needed to know. I just am very curious what her workout regimen is, because I'm also watching her in the new True Detective. Yeah. And she's like solid as a rock.
Yeah. But I mean, you get to see her. She's like, bathing suit. She's buff, dude. She looks
that's what I'm saying.
Amazing.
She's like built, like she's like legit, like, yeah. I don't know what I'm trying to say.
No, it's okay. She was incredible, but it was the end. It was the end. It was Annette, what she said at the end. And you guys know how the story ends, but she says 3 things, okay? Never give up. You are never too old. Okay.
And the third one was that she said that this swimming might look like a solitary sport, but it takes a team. And a lot of the commotion, balling, a lot of the commotion, Diane is a very strong-headed, physically strong, mentally strong woman. And she had some people on her crew after 4 tries that were like, we can't do this anymore. We got to go on with our lives.
We have to work.
We're broke. And her passion and her drive drew that whole crew back together. And there were some really interesting and phenomenal characters she brought together. But one of the most interesting aspects of her swim was to keep her safe from natural creatures, from ocean.
The sea creatures were her biggest
fear. And her fear, I don't know if they really, of course, sharks. So they had this crazy thing that it would almost look like hoses in the water. They were like sonar screeching sounds that would float in the water. So if a shark did come near her, it would screech and the shark would turn around fast. It hated the noise. So cool that they did that. But
that was the magnitude of the way, that was the level which they were protecting. She had dudes on watch on the boat looking for
guys
sharks.
on kayaks.
What?
And the best part about these guys who were trying to help, deter the sharks is that she asked like, okay, well, if this thing fails, what kind of weapons do we have here? And these people had such great respect for the elements of the ocean, the creatures that actually lived there. They're like, we don't have weapons.
This is theirs.
They had a stick with a tennis ball,
which was hilarious,
that they would poke at it because they're like, this is their home. We're the ones that are visiting.
We're passing through.
We're not going to kill the shark. And the other thing that they had to figure out was how to protect her from box jellyfish, because the sting from that sounds like a third-degree horror. It sounds like you were standing in a fire. She got stung several times. Yeah. And so they had to come up with this like silicone mask. They got a jellyfish expert on board, like literally. You guys, Michelle and I cannot recommend this movie.
Everyone watch it.
Everyone watch it.
It's like taking a hit off a good vibes bomb.
Like a really strong hit. It makes you feel like you can do anything. And that's why I think this movie is so powerful, because you could feel that energy.
100%.
And obsessed with Bonnie. Obsessed with Bonnie, aka Jodie Foster.
Can we go see her speak? Because it looks like she's on a circuit, and I'm like, oh my God,
I will see her speak. If she comes anywhere near this vicinity, we will go.
Hero.
Great, badass movie. So I'm just glad that I took the time to watch that movie, because I thought it was maybe not something that I would typically watch. And then
from the moment it started, I was in love. And everything too, like the styling. Like I was when we were at Jodie or Bonnie's house, and she was talking to Diana. Did I get that right? Diana was the swimmer. Yeah, Nyad. And she was sitting like on this like beautiful, like teal colored like day bed outside with all these green ferns behind it and a couple pops of orchid on the side. I was like, my eyes, I can't figure out what I love more, Jodie Foster or what I see on the screen. It was so good. It was so good.
You guys have got to watch it. 110 miles. She swam. It was like 48 hours.
Dude.
And if you look up online, you'll see her attempts prior to, and you'll see how off course she went. The conditions of the weather, the current, everything had
it's
to
not
be
like somebody's just jumping in, taking a swim across the ocean. There is science and measuring and numbers and timing.
They had like contacts with weather people all over the country. She's like, my guy in Georgia says it's cool. And she's like, and the captain of the ship would be like, who the fuck is your guy in Georgia? I'm the one calling the
guy. I'm the guy. Thank you.
Really? Oh my God. Yeah. Good to know a good meteorologist. All right. So the second film that Michelle and I watched that we couldn't get enough of was The Greatest Night in Pop. We won't go too long into this one, but I will tell you, it is a must.
Oh,
must.
It's going to take you right back.
So think 1985. We're little kids, we're hanging out watching TV, and all of a sudden this song comes on. Michelle.
We are the world.
There we go.
We are the children.
We are the ones who make
a better day. So let's stop giving.
I think they could have found. I feel like they could have.
Giving.
They could start. I feel like they could have found a spot for me. with my voice.
You know what? After that one guy left, he walked out. There was a vacant spot for
Waylon
you.
Jennings. You guys, it is so interesting how they got that. Let me just set the stage for you. 1985. It's the American Music Awards. Lionel Richie is hosting and sweeping the award show. But after he wraps up that night, him and like 50 other people need to leave the AMAs and go to this little studio somewhere in like Hollywood.
Pull an all-nighter. There's no sleeping.
An all-nighter and record one of the most famous songs that united, that was played and heard by billions all over the world. And it was born out of Harry Belafonte. He was kind of the whistleblower here. He visited Africa. Harry Belafonte is Deo. We know him from Beetlejuice. And he went to Africa and witnessed the amount of starving children. And he gets back to America and he's like, we got it good here. We need to fucking help other people. So, really cool guy, by the way. We've talked about him in past episodes. He came up with the idea, and then Michael Jackson and Lionel Richie, they wrote the song together with, I think Quincy Jones was kind of like the producer, the big boss guy. I get goosebumps.
Dude.
I mean, the stories about Michael Jackson and his weird animals. Oh my, you guys, it's funny. You'll cry. Your jaw will drop.
I mean, and also it's like this most incredible movement to do good and to be better and to remind you that we're all connected. I absolutely worship that. But what I took away from this as a performer and a singer and stuff was watching these people that we all know are the best in the biz at what they do. But Bob Dylan, for example, one of the greatest songwriters of all time. I love him. His voice is iconic. No one sounds like him. He was so nervous. He was dealing with insecurity in that moment. Syndrome. He could not figure out what he needed to do. And I loved, was it Stevie that was playing? And he kind of plugged into him.
Stevie Wonder gave him what he needed.
And he gave him what he needed.
I was crying.
No, I know. Same. It was
because you see these, like you said, these people, the best of the best who know what they're doing, but then you put them in a room with all these other really talented vocalists and musicians. And all of a sudden it's super intimidating. Huey Lewis was so nervous.
And his voice rocks.
He's so cool. There's just so many.
He looks great too, by the way.
I know. He's kind of handsome,
Cyndi
right?
Lauper.
Love her.
The memes with Michael Jackson looking at her when she's going off the rails is hysterical.
She's just so kooky. I freaking love her. But what Quincy Jones did, before everyone walked into the room, he wrote like on a piece of paper and posted it on the wall. It said, check your egos at the door.
Worship it.
And can't imagine how, Michael Jackson. I know. Like Bruce Springsteen, Willie Nelson. The egos that could have imploded within, and they did. But they pulled off something unlike anything has been pulled off before. It is a must see.
It's so good. I loved it. Yeah, I loved it. And just a reminder that everybody, we're all just people.
Yeah, we all get
people.
Insecurities. That was like seeing Michael Jackson made me cry too. And I'm going to cry now because he was so talented,
and he was at the top of his game then too.
Was. And I know, like he kind of went off the rails, and it got weird after, years after. But like seeing such a genius like that, his voice and his lyrical ability to like make things happen. And he was so open to feedback and to helping people and listening to people and try to integrate their ideas.
Player, collaborator.
It was, and him and Lionel. Oh my God, you guys watch it. It's a feel good movie. It's feel good. And so is Nyad. All right. I had to like control myself from crying like 5 times in this episode. Let's wrap things up, Michelle.
You're suffering from exhaustion.
I am. Michelle, what are you doing for mindful, cozy well-being this week?
What am I doing? I am growing starter. And on day 12, I came downstairs. Guys, this is like raising a newborn. Okay. You have to keep it alive. And sometimes you get in the deeps where you're like, I don't know if I can make it. Can we do this?
Yeah.
Day 12, I came downstairs and this little sweetie was doubled in size. This is day 13. And we're doming at the top. I feel like I'm going to feed her.
Doming at the top mean?
Well, there's different levels. Like when your starter looks, there's certain phases of this fermentation process that where I'm learning you can't use this to bake bread or your bread won't be fluffy and big. So like right now, I think that this would be when I take my starter and go bake some bread. However, that's first of all a whole nother. All I have to say is the neural pathways that I'm creating, learning this process.
You got to keep learning.
Are incredible. But if this thing goes concave or it goes back down, it's not dead. It's just you've missed that window of peak baking with the starter. This is one of the most fun things I've ever done in my entire life.
So cool. And I love that you have decided to do it based on creating your own starter when you can have easily bought a starter
and started to bake bread. The whole process. Because I'm like, you know what I kept saying to myself? If everybody else is doing this, I can do it too.
Why can't I?
Right? You know what? And like Diana Nyad says, or me, chip away each day. You can do and be whatever you want. It is your life.
It is your life.
Thank you. Thank you. Right
God
there.
is blessed.
What about you?
Wait to eat
Lauren,
your sourdough bread.
You will have one of the first slices. And I do want to thank my mentors really quick, if I could, that have been going along with me on this journey.
It's like your Grammys moment for sourdough.
I do. I want to thank my mentor, Sourdough Haley, on Instagram. It was because of you that I got my butt off the can and started this process. To our friend Jen over at Hook and Garden, who's been sharing tips and tricks along the way. And of course, our sister Andrea at Strictly Sourdough, just carrying me on this journey and cheering me on. So thank you. Thank you, everybody.
You guys, I will link all three of those Instagram handles. And I, being part of the Instagram that we share, I see all these messages. Michelle is like on a sourdough high. And I'm proud of you because that is taking on a whole new adventure. I am doing what I said I was doing at the beginning of the show, and I'm tapping into the books that feed my soul, that give me the reminders that I need, and that keep my mindset where it needs to be. So like when Luna's losing her shit, I can say things from the books that I remember. This is temporary. This is not going to be forever. So a few real quick. The Art of Living by Epictetus. I always say it wrong. Epictetus is
this like a Greek philosopher?
This is like an old fashioned, way back in the day.
Okay.
Not even Greek. It's born into slavery in 55 CE. In the outreaches of the Roman Empire, and once freed, developed Stoic philosophy. So
that looks amazing.
Everyone should have a copy of this book. Every single person.
Did you pull that out of a local library?
I bought this at the Globe in Prague. Our friend Mike Cito owns this really cool cafe and bookstore. If you ever find yourself in Prague, go to this. I said, give me any book. What book should I have on my bookshelf? And he reached in and handed me this. He says, everyone should have a copy of this. Yeah.
That's awesome.
That book is amazing. Another book that I highly, highly recommend is this book right here, 101 Essays That Will Change the Way You Think. This book is my Bible. This book it's filled with so many lessons, so many mindset shifters, ways to think, ways to look at life differently. It talks about success, relationships, happiness, everyday life. It is, again, another book. I've got more books to share. I won't do it now. If I were to recommend 2 books that you order on Amazon right now, it would be these 2. Okay. And while you're at it, get some highlighters and some tabs because you're going to be taking notes.
Love that. Lauren, you and brother Ryan share this this daily ritual of reading passages from several books. He also has a similar process.
Yeah. I mean, it's like my Bible. These are lessons. And with Epictetus, I feel like they're so embedded from so long ago. And the fact that they're still applicable in a modern day setting in which we live in says something.
100%,
right? I mean, 55, timeless. CE?
That's some wisdom right there. If that shit stood the test of time, you want to listen.
Exactly.
You want to take that in. Absolutely.
I'll share more another day, but great episode. Longer than usual, but that's because we had so much to share with you guys. And we appreciate you guys sticking around. And I hope that you guys pick up one of these books and maybe learn how to bake some sourdough. And as always,
stay cozy, friends.
Thank you for joining us for today's cozy conversation. For more of The Sister Project, check us out on Instagram at The Sister Proj and our website, www.thesisterprojectblog.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast and maybe even drop us a review. Until next time, stay cozy.